Ladies and gentlemen, after 5 rounds, we go to the judges' scorecards for decision. The judges score the contest 48-47, 49-46, and 49-46 for the winner by unanimous decision, and new undisputed UFC featherweight champion of the world.
I will go with the younger man here. I'll go with the fighter on the winning streak. I think the underdog gets it done here. Been more active. Give me Diego Lopez to win this fight by knockout.
What's up, guys, and welcome back to another video. Today we are going to be going over one of probably the best cards this year, UFC 314. Stacked, absolutely stacked card. There was a whole bunch of amazing fights. Stacked prelims too. Prelims were quite amazing. We're just going to be going over what happened post-fight and my breakdown. I'm not a huge martial artist, but I am trying to get into the sport. So here is my complete and total breakdown of UFC 314. We started off the night pretty amazingly in the prelim realm with Gore versus Tulio. This fight was completely action-packed. We had a lot of crazy kicks, and Gore was kind of just taking the dishings that Tulio was giving to him. We even had one point where he had dropped him, and we thought the fight was over. Tulio got high and Gore was able to slip out, not for long. Ended it up with that right hand after the jumping front kick, which was pretty funny, but throwing that jumping front kick and then that right hand really got him down and finished that fight. And then we had kind of a controversial one to end the prelims. We have Ige versus Woodson. It was pretty much, I would say, a half and half battle that might be swayed because I do like Woodson. I like his fighting style, and I like how he deals in the octagon. But it was kind of ended pretty early. He was standing up as the ref called it. Kind of sucks, but I mean, what can you do? Maybe the fight wouldn't have gone longer, and there would have been an injury. Maybe he stopped it perfectly. We had a pretty crazy fight to start. We had Krylov versus Dominic Reyes. Doing the lineup here, there wasn't much difference. There was half-inch distance in reach, an inch difference in height. It was really a really good matchup, and we kind of saw that when they were coming out of the gate, and there was a lot of shots traded. Could have gone either way if it went any further. So originally coming out of the gate, I had Reyes as my favorite. From all the other fights that I watched, I just saw him more, I wouldn't say being the aggressor, I would say slowly chinking away at the armor, and then when it comes to it, striking and really laying him down. I thought it was going to go all 3 rounds. We were watching it mid-first round, and you all know what happened. As the fight starts off, you can kind of see them both jumping around, both trading kicks. Reyes definitely gets the better of the exchanges as they go on. It seems that he's also retreating a lot more than Krylov is, but just because you're retreating doesn't mean you're losing the fight. I feel like that's what a lot of people see. They see a guy retreating and they think he's like scared, but you have to be disciplined when you're in the octagon with another man that definitely has the power and the quickness to take you out. And you can almost see Reyes baiting him in, like trying to draw him back, taking a few steps back, and you see Krylov immediately jump after him, getting a little bit too aggressive on coming forward, and you definitely see that Reyes recognizes that. At minute 3, we see a little bit of some forward movement, and you see Reyes kind of not really react to it, but I think he did react, but his reaction was what followed up later in the fight. Almost 30 seconds later, we have an amazing knockout. Said it, I think we were all thinking it before the announcers even said it, before Joe Rogan said it. That looked exactly like McGregor versus Aldo. Almost picture perfect. Had him coming forward. Krylov throws that right. Reyes just waiting there with the left, lands it cleanly on the chin, leaves him floating through the air, and down on the canvas he goes. And I see the same thing that happened in minute 3 as the same thing that happened in the 2-minute 39 mark. He was coming forward with a lot of straight pressure, coming straight at him, and all he had to take was that back step, wait for that right punch, and land with the left. Amazing fight. Amazing to start off the card, especially when we were watching it. I was like, wow. And we still have 4 more pretty stacked fights. Mitchell and Silva, Rodriguez and Pitbull, Chandler Pimblet, Volkanovski Lopez, everybody stacked on this card. Now, Mitchell and Silva was one that I was kind of swayed on. I was rooting for Mitchell, but who was going to win was going to be Silva. Just in his previous fights, I think that he's the all-around better striker, and he's not that bad at defending shots, as we can kind of see it that with Bryce Mitchell. And this fight was absolutely insane. First round, he came out guns a-blazing, I wouldn't say knocked, but chinked at Mitchell's armor a little bit and was able to get past and really hurt Mitchell and make it seem like Silva was having a great time. And started round 2, you could definitely see it on their faces on who was ready to fight this next round. The other thing that was weird to me during this fight is that Silva was talking about at the press conference that he was going to knock Bryce Mitchell out. But as we see, he knocked Bryce Mitchell down quite a few times and just kind of left him and let him get back up. But when it came to the submission, as we see that in the end of the first round, he really wanted that. He made it really tight for him. And when I saw that, I was praying that Bryce Mitchell would get up, but I knew that if Silva got another chance at a submission, it was going to be over. And gets it done with a ninja choke. Celebrations, always insane. These guys are 2 of the biggest crowd raisers. Amazing entertainers wherever they are. Sad that they both had to fight each other and made Thug Nasty look pretty small in that octagon with Silva. Now we have Rodriguez versus Pitbull. I didn't really get a good look at rounds 2 and 3. I was kind of distracted, but it seemed that Rodriguez had a lot of animosity towards Pitbull. I think he wanted to prove himself that this was the UFC and he was the number 1 guy that Pitbull should have to get through before going for a title. I don't think Pitbull ever really will go for a title. I think he's a little bit too old, and I think Bellator is a completely different life than the UFC. You saw it a few times. Rodriguez was kind of getting irritated with some of the things that Pitbull was doing. Like he'd throw a low kick and it'd be close, and Pitbull kind of feel like it was a illegal kick, but Rodriguez would be like, no, no, no. And then Rodriguez getting the decision win. I mean, we all kind of saw it coming. It wasn't like Pitbull was really in the fight. Now, for our co-main event, Chandler versus Pimblet. I heard DC say this as well, and I think it's amazing how Pimblet can come out here, do his walk-up song, be entertained with the crowd, and be all hype, be all crazy. But the second Chandler walked in there, it was like the air in the room dissipated, and he was now not an entertainer, he was a fighter. Completely insane how the shift happened, and we definitely saw that he was a fighter during that fight. Absolutely amazing. Masterclass. I would say career best, and absolutely crazy. Even on the feet, he was dominating. On the ground, dominating. And I think everybody, when we saw that knee and we saw him pouring blood, not even 15 seconds after, his whole chest covered in blood. And then he eventually got the takedown. And I thought, to be honest, if it would have gone maybe a minute longer, there probably would have been a doctor's stoppage. I don't have a picture of the cut. If I do, it'll probably be right here. But it was nasty. It was bleeding everywhere. Eventually got the TKO. Kind of sad for Chandler. I think that he might have he might have 2 or 3 more fights. And I want to see him go on a title run. But I think he has to train very hard. Look at his mistakes from this fight. Even though Pimblet is an amazing fighter, there is much more to come in the lightweight division. Even though Chandler has fought a lot of the greats in the lightweight division, I think that the champion now, Islam, is on a different level. And I heard that he might be moving up to welterweight, depending on what happens at UFC 315. I hope he does. I want to see him dominate another division and become the champ. I had Pimblet all the way for this one. I don't know. I just felt like Chandler didn't seem in the right mindset for me, to be honest. Now we go to Volkanovski versus Lopez, our main event. Ilia Topuria is moving up and vacating the title. I think these two guys are the best to be fighting for the vacated title. I think regardless, no matter who it was, I don't care if Ilia Topuria came back and he was in this fight. I'm always choosing Volk. Volk is absolute electric fighter, has an amazing personality in outside the ring. I watched him on Mighty Cast and really got to get a kind of deep dive into how he feels about it. Rugby player, pretty sound one at that. He's a different level of athlete. He also said that he felt the best coming into this fight. So I don't think anybody in this planet right now is beating Volkanovski at his best. Volk is an absolutely amazing fighter, and I can't wait to see his title defense run. He claims he wants to be a very active champion because he knows he is getting pretty old. But I don't think that will stop him from getting maybe 3 to 5 title defenses, depending on who comes. I would like to see a rematch, though. I think Lopez is a absolutely electric fighter, and there's no one better for him right now than Volkanovski. I would like to see Volkanovski fight maybe 2 or 3 other guys before he gets the rematch, but as we know with Volkanovski rematches, they do not end well, especially with the three-peat with Holloway. I think that if it was meant to be, it's meant to be. Overall, we saw a lot of good knockdowns. Round 1, clear knockdown for Volkanovski. Round 2, they had Volk at the beginning, and then he dominated a lot of the middle space, and then I wouldn't say lucky, but pretty unauthorized knockdown from Lopez late. We saw that Volkanovski got very upset by that he allowed himself to do that. So we saw the shift in round 3. I would say round 4 kind of was sad. He got caught with that uppercut right to the eye. Couldn't really see for most of the round. We saw that on the stool. He said that he was just regaining vision. And round 5 was all Volk. It was kind of him trying to stay away from Lopez, because no matter who you are, Lopez does contain that knockout power, and he could finish you in an instant. And you can't be dancing around. Lopez wanted to come stand and bang, and it was just hard for Volk to let himself go and be like, yeah, I'm just going to give myself to you. We kind of saw it at the end of the round, and if that would have continued, if we would have had 30 more seconds in that round, I think Volk would have went to bed. But now we have a new featherweight champion, Alexander Volkanovski. Quite amazing, to be honest. I really love him as a champion. I think that Ilia Topuria should have just stayed in Spain and let Alexander go to be the featherweight GOAT. Overall, pretty stacked card. I loved 90% of the fights on this card. Uncle Dana cooked with this one. And overall, I really can't wait for UFC 315, mostly the main card, because I want to see what happens with Islam and the welterweight championship. Anyways, so UFC 314, that is a wrap. Quite an amazing card. Drop your predictions on what you had before. I think that I did pretty well. Like I said, Mitchell was the only gray area for me. I was rooting for him, but not wanting him to win, because all the stuff at the press conference was amazing. I loved the vibe around that, especially with Lopez and Rodriguez. I would like to see that fight. That fight would be kind of insane to see it. These guys weren't even put together. Yair talked some trash, and Lopez is not going to let that sit. He's going to battle back. I can't wait to see if that fight comes. I would like to hear it. I'll probably do an update on what has happened after UFC 314, but this is on the night of UFC 314. So, anyways, let me know if you like the post fights. We'll try to do predictions on the next one. I just thought of it a little bit too late. Thank you guys so much for showing up and being here. Let me know down in the comments how you feel about UFC 314. Was that one stoppage early? Was the other stoppage too late? I don't know. Let me know. All right, thank you. It's time to start living life at the elite level.